we are working towards creating more solutions and technologies which can integrate the product and the solution together.
A very warm welcome to all in conversation with Mr. Shobhit Gupta, Joint Managing Director of Holostik. We will delve into the anti counterfeiting solutions that Holostik has to offer in regards to their packaging and security department. So, sir, I would like to start off by asking what kind of anti counterfeiting solutions do you provide for packaging and security, and what are the gaps in the industry that inspired you to take on them?
See, at Holistic, what we do is it's not a product centric company. What we is essentially focus on is providing solutions. So when I say solutions, so we have a extensive list of products like we do holograms, we do security labels, we do smart digital packaging, we do QR codes, we do shrink sleeves. But essentially, what we try to do is put all different types of products and solutions together and try to address the problem of anti-counterfeiting through solution selling. And in terms of gaps in the industry, there are lots of gaps in the industry because when we did our market research, first of all, we found out there was a lack of comprehensive solution provider. So some company would be printing labels, the other company would be doing holograms, third company would be focusing on IT solutions with QR code and smart applications. But there was not a single entity which had everything in house and it provided a turnkey 360 degrees holistic solution for anti counterfeiting. Also, what happens is this is a very sensitive topic because anti-counterfeiting not only it affects the government and the private companies in terms of the revenue loss, but also some of the industries like pharma and automobile. These can lead to very serious consequences in terms of uh, saving lives. So, for example, in automobile industry, there are a lot of counterfeit parts which are being sold in the after car service. Now, suppose if you're driving on a highway and the brake is supposed to stop the car and it doesn't, then it can directly lead to very severe consequences. Similarly, in the pharma industry, if you're consuming some life-threatening drugs, and in life-saving drugs, sorry, and instead of that, if you buy a medicine which is counterfeit, then obviously it will not work. So what we are trying to address here is minimize the consequences of consuming anti-counterfeiting solutions and products.
Right. So, I would like to ask you something. So, with technological advancements at the forefront, where do you see the world of anti-counterfeiting solutions specific to packaging heading?
So as the world is progressing more towards digitalization and adaptation of different technologies, uh, I see a similar shift being happening in the counterfeiting space as well. What and especially at Holistic, we acknowledge that, and we are working towards creating more solutions and technologies which can integrate the product and the solution together. So in essentially in this space, we talk about three different layers. We talk about a physical layer, which is basically a label or a hologram. Then we talk about the digital layer, which is basically providing QR codes, RFID codes, and then integrating that with the product. So basically, it's a combination of product solutions, digital solutions, and we name it something known as phygital. So phygital is basically a combination of physical and digital technologies, wherein the consumer can not only authenticate the product at the point of sales, but also can track the product. The manufacturer and the distributor can track the product across the entire supply chain. So to summarize, I feel uh, it's going to be a combination adaptation of the newest technologies in the world, which will act as an enhancer in providing the anti-counterfeiting solutions. And none of the technologies will actually fade away, but all the technologies will start combining together to form a solution.
So, on that note, what recent technological advancements have incurred in Holostic?
So at Holistic, we believe that R&D is the backbone of the organization and the industry, and we invest heavily in R&D on an annual basis. In the past couple of years, we have developed a lot of products, but I would like to mention one or two. One is, of course, a shift towards plastic based to paper based. So we have developed eco-friendly narrow web holograms, As well as on the packaging side, we have developed technologies wherein we can transfer holography on paperboard or paper, and which can be further laminated to create monocartons. Uh, the second is because we have an in-house metallizer on the packaging front, so we are also doing products like HRI and Alox, which and Alox especially is a future-looking product because it is transparent holography, and then one can actually see the product inside the laminate when it is oxidized with Alox. On the IT front, we have also launched an application known as Sure Assure application, which is very easily available for everyone to download. And using that application, one can authenticate the product at the time of buying. And it's a very user friendly application, very easy to navigate. So I think a combination of Sure Assure, paper based technologies, and Alox is what we are looking at in the near future.
Alright. So when we talk about counterfeiting, right? So I would like to know what difference do you see in providing solutions for the Western market compared to the domestic one? So what are some of the different counterfeiting challenges that exist in both the paradigms?
Uh, the key problem globally remains the same. So the key problem is basically how to stop counterfeiting. Now, uh, as you mentioned, developed world or Western world. Uh, I think in terms, if you compare the different regions in globally, then the Western world is more enhanced in terms of adaptation of newer technologies. So when we talk about IoT or we talk about digitalization, we talk about QR codes, RFID, then I think it is easier for these countries to adapt these solutions because the IT infrastructure is well in place and it has been in place for several years. So this is one of the challenges which we actually face in the developed economy because the IT infrastructure is still work in progress. Although the adaptation rate in developed economies is in developing economies is faster because the IT infrastructure is building very fast in a country like India, and in a few years, I'm sure we will be able to catch up with the Western world. So first is the adaptation of digital technologies in terms of the having the right IT infrastructure in place, and secondly, I feel it is also a global issue is enforcement of laws. So in developed economies, we face a challenge when we try to sell a solution or a product, and we try to educate the consumers and the brand owners. Then even though sometimes the anti-counterfeiters are caught, but the enforcement of law is not very strict. So they are released on bail, or the proper legal proceedings don't happen, so that it kind of really doesn't end the story there. As compared to the Western world, if you're caught making counterfeiting products, then the legal consequences are very strong and very harsh. So I feel enforcement of law also drives the innovation in the industry. And only when a country like India will have stricter rules and legal system to punish the people who are risking the lives of the consumers by selling counterfeit products, uh, will have a far greater effect.
Yeah, I think that definitely makes sense, even though companies such as Holostik are like working tirelessly to ensure there are anti-counterfeiting solutions. Unless there's no law enforcement, it won't really make sense. So it has to go both ways, right? So, like
Right.
speaking of like the digital advancements, like you talked about Western world having more of the digital advancements. So with rise of IoT and digital anti-counterfeiting measures, how do you ensure that even traditional holographic solutions remain relevant?
So as I mentioned earlier, I think the only way forward to make sure that we are able to adapt to different technologies is creating a bridge between physical and digital technologies, which we refer to as phygital solutions. Only when we adapt the newer technologies and create a bridge and integrate it with the physical technologies like holograms, security labels, smart packaging, then we'll be able to offer an integrated solution to the consumers. And this is essentially what Holistic is also working at. We are trying to integrate the solutions, and also the in anti counterfeiting space, there are three layers of security. One is overt, covert, and forensic. So overt is something which one can see with the naked eye. Covert is something which requires special devices like a laser torch or a thermochromic, reader. And forensic is something which only the experts can verify through specific lab tests. So the layers, these integrated layers of technologies, when combined with digital technology, is what uh, provides a pure comprehensive solution to the consumers.
What are some of the steps that Holostik is taking to educate industries and consumers about the risks of counterfeiting and the importance of adopting secure solutions, especially with in terms of security, with being your domain?
So that's a very good question. So one very clearly needs to understand that all these technologies and solutions which we are developing for the industry will work only when the brand owners and the consumers are actually aware of how to authenticate the product and how to stop uh, duplication and supporting the cause in their own ways. So that as holistic as the industry leader for providing these kind of solutions, we work a lot with the industry associations like ASPA, which is Authentication Solution Providers Association in India, which is the leading association for providing anti-counterfeiting solutions. Also, globally, we work with organizations like IHMA, which has just recently been renamed as International Optical Technologies Association. Uh, so basically, we are working with a lot of industry bodies and associations to spread the message. Also, we work very closely with brand owners to create campaigns and awareness along with them so that when the consumers and their distributors and the industry partners are well aware of how to differentiate between a counterfeit and a original product. And thirdly, I think it's all because of people like you. So we are fortunate to have this access, and so that our message can reach the industry through a lot of media outreaches.
All right. So, Mr. Shobit, any last comments that you would like to make, and especially in terms of law enforcement, like how can companies and even customer awareness push sort of the government bodies to take more initiatives?
I think one of the easiest solution is for the government to launch an application, which is obviously a free application and which can be
Oh,
easily
sorry, I just
downloaded
had to check. My battery is running out for some reason.
by.
Let me see. I'm so sorry about this. I don't know how this happened. Yeah, perfect. Please continue.
Yeah. So sorry, I just lost my thought. What was the question?
So, any like passing thoughts you have on like how government bodies can be sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
pushed
Yeah.
into?
Right. So what I was saying is the government can launch an application which can be very easily downloaded by everyone. And the same application should be able to authenticate different products and different solutions being provided by different companies in this space. So for example, if we have a simple application which you and I can download, and before buying a product, we can use the same application to authenticate the genuinity of the product, then I think the it will help the brands tremendously, and also it will help the consumers tremendously, because right now what is happening is we are offering solutions and we are offering applications, but there are different applications provided by different suppliers. So it's not really very practical for the consumers to download all these different applications and then authenticate the products at the time of buying. So if basically the government becomes a part of this and launches one single application which should be used to authenticate all the products, then I think it will be very beneficial for the industry.
Thank you, Mr. Shobit. Thank you for taking time out of your day to take part in this interview. And I'm sure this will certainly help a lot of people understand this better and navigate this sector better. So thank you so much.